Smoke damage by the Southern Avenger. The first time I heard about the proposed smoking ban in Charleston, I was working on a construction site in Goose Creek alongside a block mason, whose continuous brick cutting filled the air, my nostrils, and my lungs with a thick cloud of concrete dust. I fetched a mask, which helped a little as I continued to listen to the man on the radio who insisted an indoor smoking ban was necessary to protect workers and customers. My job wasn't pleasant and probably wasn't healthy, but I needed the money and agreed to do the job at hand. Hazards and all. Kevin Young has been a bartender at AC's Bar and Grill on King Street downtown for over a decade. Young is a non-smoker who has worked in a smoking environment for most of his adult life. Since the smoking ban went into effect, Young has consistently worked 8 hours longer than he used to each week and earns roughly $200 less each week. The ban has literally cut his bread and butter happy hour shift in half, says Young, who adds, quote, "bring back the smokers." Kevin's boss agrees, says AC's owner Jim Curley, quote, "profits in 2007 were down 80% compared to 2006, and that's with the smoking ban being in effect for only half a year." Curley says assuming the ban hasn't had any negative effect based on customers seeing a full bar on some nights would be like judging the financial health of a movie theater based solely on opening night for a new Harry Potter film. Only an absolute idiot, says Curley, would not consider other factors. That customers or employees might be exposed to secondhand smoke based on a personal decision should seem like a trivial consideration to reasonable people when compared to the much more serious financial risk and loss suffered by bartenders and bar owners like Young and Curley. Their livelihood depends on the success of the bar. By what rationale should the government have the right to hamper or harm the way these men earn a living by restricting the use of a legal product? The only difference between my experience with concrete dust on a construction site and secondhand smoke in bars and restaurants is that most people don't frequent construction sites. Most people do go to bars or restaurants and they do hate smoke on their clothes, in their hair, or in their personal space. The Charleston smoking ban, and indeed all smoking bans, are first and foremost a reflection of popular prejudice despite any alleged health concerns. And frankly, more than a few experts have agreed that former Surgeon General Richard Carmona's contention that exposure to secondhand smoke is as damaging as smoking a pack a day should rank right up there with the president's belief that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction in terms of useful government information. While it's no secret that I've always been a fan of lost causes, the latest decision by the South Carolina State Supreme Court to uphold local smoking bans does not end debate on the real issue at hand, the power and scope of government. Having a smoke-free low country certainly doesn't come free for everyone, as some employees and business owners continue to pay the price in lost wages and lost profits simply to satisfy the prejudice of the non-smoking majority. As I write this commentary, I've actually been sitting in AC's talking with my friend Kevin behind the bar, who has had only one other customer for the last hour, and that customer just went outside to smoke. It would not have bothered Kevin or me in the least if he had remained in the bar to enjoy his cigarette, but the government has already made that decision for us. As a grown man, it's a bit offensive. As an American, it's a little disheartening, and as a citizen, it's ridiculous. There was a time in this country when most Americans would have agreed, even those who hated smoking, believing that government should have reasonable limits. But in an increasingly unreasonable world, such arbitrary power promises to become increasingly limitless, undermining and overtaking even the most basic American notions of property and principle. And in the end, it seems Americans' worst habit has become mass acceptance of bad government in the name of good intentions, the proverbial path to hell. For more commentaries, log into SouthernAvenger.com, read my weekly column in the Charleston City paper, or listen here each Tuesday and Friday to the Southern Avenger, only on 1250 WTMA.